Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. Okay, I'm sure that's the network. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. Thank you once again for joining me on this platform once again today. Last week we discussed on understanding your child's temperament. If you were not on this live platform last week, good thing is that the video is still on my Facebook page, Toyin Olutola Eson. You could watch there. You could do the rewatch there, or you could check on my YouTube page, Eson Oluwatoyin, to watch the previous uploads on my channel. Very quickly, today we're talking about beyond the rod, effective school discipline for the 21st century. Effective school discipline for the 21st century. How effective is your school's discipline policies? I remember while I was in school, while I was in my primary school and secondary school, the way they discipline us then is totally different from the way they discipline children now. But let me just tell you this, if you're still a parent, or most especially a teacher, and you still use rod, by rod I mean cane, to flog your child, you need to be arrested because that's a criminal offense. If your opportunity to check out the Child Rights Act, you will see that it's a crime for you to use cane on children, especially pupils in your school. So if you're still doing such practice in your school, be it a public school or a private school, you should stop that because it is child abuse. So today I want to talk about, okay, there's this what's it called, this rave nowadays that we shouldn't use cane to flog a child, we shouldn't use corporal punishment. So how can we maintain a sane environment in the school? So sit back, get your pen and your writing pad while we learn one or two things together. First, if you are in the school system, you should have school discipline policies. You should have policies that are clear and explanatory for the school, the parent, and also the pupils. They should be aware of the school policies as regards discipline, and they should follow those policies strictly. And whatever measure of correction you want to use to correct misbehavior in the school, it should be strictly in line with the school policies. You cannot use measures that are outside your school policies. But I know most schools have policies, but parents are not even aware of these policies. So when a child goes home and say, oh, I did this and this was done to me in school, the parents might raise eyebrow and say, why would they have to do this to my child? So all schools should have policies, and those policies should be known to parents. How can you make policies known to parents? One, parents should have copies of the school policies, and but the thing is that when they have the school policies, they might not even read them. So that's why we have, when they come for parent meeting like tea parties or parent conference, the school should make it a duty of care to share those policies in summary, short notes for parents to be able to understand that this is the policies for the school as regards discipline, as regards other things, uniform, academics, extracurricular activities, and etc. So first, for you to have effective school discipline in the 21st century in your school, you should have clear school policies, and these policies should be understood by the children, the pupils, and the parents. It's very important. And afterwards, in that policies, then you could have certain code of conduct, code of behaviors that is expected of children in the school, and measures for correcting. We don't call them punishment, they are called measures of correcting. Thank you very much, Ruth Oluwaseun, for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you for your words of encouragement. I'm grateful. So back to what I was saying, that one, have a clear communication, policies, that the children are aware of the policies, they know certain things they're not expected to do, and they know when they break such laws, the corrective measures that they will get, that the parents are also aware and the children are aware that this is the repercussion of the consequences of this certain behavior. Number two, you should build a positive relationship. The school system, and when I talk about the school system, I'm talking about the educators, the non-academic staff, and everybody in the school system. The parents should build a positive relationship in the school. Yes, because if you have a positive relationship with the children, with the pupils, they would want to maintain perfect behavior while they are in school. And also, teachers, school owners, management staff communicate expected behavior to the pupils in clear terms. And when we talk about discipline, effective school discipline, we're talking about discipline and as regards the educators, the pupils, and all the member of staff. If there are no clear communication of expectations from pupils, of course they wouldn't break such laws. In your class, do you have class rules? Are they well stated, or are they ambiguous, something that you pick from your head and say, don't do this, don't do that? Your communications, your rules and regulations in your class should be clear, and not just having rules, you must make sure that those rules have measures, corrective measures. And one thing for you to maintain discipline in the school is to ensure that the pupils in your class, the rules you make in your class, there is a collaboration with the pupils and the teachers in making such rules, and the measures correct such rules. So that's number two of how to ensure effective school discipline in the 21st century. Number three, model expected behavior in your school. As a teacher, a school manager, you should model expected behavior. One of the policies of schools is that pupils are expected to put on their appropriate uniforms to school. So you as a teacher, and you're expected also, if your school policy says that educators should dress corporate at all times, but the children are saying you're not dressing corporate, you're not in your tie, on Monday you decide to wear a traditional attire which is against your school rule, you are not modeling expected behavior. And because you're a role model to the pupils in your class, they are learning by example from you. So for your school, for your class to have for your class to be well disciplined, you should model expected behavior for your children. School managers should also model expected behavior. And another way whereby you could ensure effective school discipline in the 21st century is for you to incorporate technology and hands-on while you're teaching in the class. Because children's attention span, as I would always say, is very short. So for you to guide against noise, truancy, them poking each other, them just standing up using the washroom at intervals during your lesson, you should prepare and plan for your lesson and ensure that your lesson is fun-driven. You incorporate technology in your lesson. You also have hands-on. Why do you need all these things? It's because you have different caliber of pupils in your class. You have the high achiever, you have the middle achiever, and of course you may have the low achiever in your class. So if your lessons are not fun, the high achievers might have finished the class activities in a short time, thereby distracting others. So when there's distraction in your class, distraction is synonymous to indiscipline. So for you as an educator, you must ensure that your lessons are fun-driven, you incorporate technology, you have hands-on activities, and you have extra tasks for pupils who are high achievers, who finish their task in time. So by doing this, you ensure that your class is in check, that your class organization is top notch. Just imagine you walking into a school and everywhere is quiet and there are pupils in the school. You will say to yourself, wow, is this really a school? Why? Because the school has effective discipline in the organization. Another thing for you to also Another way for you to ensure effective discipline in your school is to train your teachers. You need to train your teachers. Training cannot be enough. Train them on different strategies on how to ensure discipline. You could share this video with them, you could send them on training, you could send them links whereby they could learn other measures of ensuring discipline in their classroom and in the school generally. While I was in the classroom, one thing that worked for me to ensure discipline in my classroom is using sign language. When the noise level is high, my pupils, they know. When I raise up my hands and do like this, they know what it means. When I stand up, they know what it means. So instead of educators yelling and having headaches every blessed day because of indiscipline in their classroom, they could try that method. Another method is for you to psychologically have pep talks, psychologically work on the children, have pep talks with them. Tell them the benefit of being disciplined, of obeying rules. But most importantly, celebrate good behaviors. When you celebrate good behaviors of pupils sitting nicely, of those turning in their homework in time, of those properly dressed, of those answering questions in time, when you celebrate good behaviors, other pupils in your class will automatically want to be celebrated. Everybody loves celebration, so they want to be celebrated. And if everybody is celebrated in your class, just one off, you have a moment of you know uneasiness or untidiness in the class, but you will be sure that to an extent there is discipline in your classroom. Planning and organization. Educators, you need to plan your time, you need to plan your schedule, you need to have even time out where the children can talk and gist, can laugh. Not every time you're just so strict. You have classes from morning to closing time, no little time for them to just chit chat, because all this chit chat is needed, because children will always be children. The break time should not be taken away from them. All these are ingredients that makes up a school that has effective discipline. And for you to have another way is also for you to resolve issues immediately. Resolve issues immediately. And like I said, that using cane on pupils, it's a crime. It's a violation of child's right, pardon me. Also, you cannot abuse a child verbally. Aside from using rods, cane, you cannot pinch them, you cannot poke them, you cannot twist their ears. That is also violation of their right. But you could celebrate those with good behaviors, you could celebrate them with stickers. I tell you, even those in upper primary, they still want to be celebrated. And if you're celebrating them and some are still finding it difficult, then you go into your difficult to follow the standard behaviors in the school or in the classroom, then you should consult your policy. What does your policy says? What are the corrective measures of certain behaviors? In most schools, they have corrective measures, like the children write lines. Maybe write lines like, I will be respectful, I will turn in good homework. So they could write it like 50 lines, 100, 300. It depends on the gravity of the what's the right word now, of the gravity of the offense. So they could write lines, they could assist someone during their break time. You could take a little part of their break time from them. But you can't do this if this is not in your school policies. But I'm just saying this in some policies I've come across, that those are the measures of correcting behaviors, disobedience in school. And if it's a very grievous offense, of course, the parent has to be involved, whereby they come for meeting together. But one thing I'll say that before it gets to that very grievous offense, the parent also should be aware, except the grievous offense happens one-off. So parent also should be in the picture, if that's according to your school policies. Like I would always refer to other schools, we that has school canteen. We in their school policy states that the child can wash plates, the child can help to tidy up, the child can run errands, not errands going out of the school, of course, maybe run errands like for like being a personal assistant for the head of school or for the supervisors within 10 or 15 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes. So whatever it's according to your policies, then you should do. But remember, everything you do as a school, as an educator, should be in the best interest of the child rather. And when a child is facing consequences of their disobedience, make sure they understand why they have to do this lie, right, why they have to face these consequences. It's because their actions needs to be corrected. So all this and many more are different ways whereby you could ensure or achieve effective discipline in the 21st century school. Using cane is totally not allowed. Shaming children on the name of discipline is totally not allowed. Segregating or isolating them or asking their classmates not to talk to them or not to play with them, that is emotional abuse. You shouldn't do that. Find ways, like I've discussed in this video, on how you can help ensure discipline in your school. So in conclusion, I like to say, parent too, you should or you can stop using cane on your children. Sit them down, let them understand the values of your family, and ensure that when they break such values, or when they violate certain procedures or code of conduct in the family, don't use cane, don't yell, don't shame them, because those are the things our parents did while we were growing up. They didn't know better, but thank God for information and today, and for the level of exposure. We as parents, as teachers, as school owners and administrators shouldn't be caught doing that, because if you do that, you're violating the child's right. So thank you once again for joining this live video. I always like to make my videos very short so that it wouldn't be boring. So what are your take home from this video? I would like to, in summary, the summary of this video says that using of cane is not allowed. Corporal punishment is not allowed for ensuring discipline, especially in schools. If your school of thought might say that you want that to, the school of thought might say that you can do that to your child, well, that's fine. But in 21st century schools, it is not allowed. Someone is asking a question here. It says, apart from writing lines, what else can they do if we decide to spare the rod? If all these methods or policies don't work, what's the way forward? Okay, if the policies and the method don't work, I'm sure the policy also states that there are other measures, like school policies are first time offender, second time offender, then afterwards the parents are being called, then afterwards the child may be suspended, and if there are no positive change, the child may be expelled from the school. So if all the policies and the writing of lines and the little measures of correction doesn't work, the school has to take drastic measures. They might decide to suspend the child to go back home and have a reflective time. And if the parents feel that the child, or if the child changes, then he can come back into the school. But for the school system, if the child is not listening, and despite the fact that you've called the parent, well, I feel personally that the child should be suspended to go home and have a time of reflection. And if after that there is no change, the school can decide to take the next line of action. But perhaps that child is your child. Well, you have to do everything in your power to make sure that there is a desired change. I hope I've been able to answer that question, Mr. Mohammed. Okay, let me see you respond if you're satisfied with the question, with the answer rather. Okay, so in conclusion, as I wait for his response, in conclusion, ensure that you try as much as possible to maintain effective discipline in the school system and, of course, in your family and everywhere you find yourself. Thank you very much for joining my live today. Next week, we'll have an interesting topic that we're going to be sharing together. Okay. All right, I'm still waiting for his response. Okay, all right. So, all right. Thank you very much. He said he's satisfied with the answer. So, thank you for joining my live today. I'm grateful, and I remain Eson Oluwatoyin. Share this video to as many individuals that you think may benefit from this video. Bye bye. See you next week, same time on Saturday.